we're at that level right now where the opportunities will slowly continue to come in front of him, and hopefully we can continue to prepare him, and he puts in a ton of work himself and is obviously the catalyst for that.
Mitch, to be quite honest, you'll step up in class on Tuesday and Thursday on this road trip. Just your thoughts on coming into this road trip with obviously a couple of challenges out in front of you.
Yeah, well, obviously we played both these teams before, very talented, very good individual players, and are playing well as a team also. So, all playoff teams in front of us, and we're just going to kind of try to keep doing what we're doing. It's much more about us, and obviously you got to deal with the opponent in front of you, but we're going to kind of just keep on trying to build what we've been doing here in the recent few weeks and continue to trend the right way.
Mitch, I'll let you go on this one. Of course, the official word came yesterday that Manu Ginobili would be inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. You've had a chance to be around him some. All of us who've spent some time with Manu obviously are better people because we've been around him. But just your thoughts on the recognition of him going into the Hall of Fame and also your relationship with Manu.
Well, I'll just say, obviously it's a no-brainer. I don't think anybody was on pins and needles wondering if he was going to get the call. But very cool for him. And as you saw the clip at the game, and that's out there about him getting the call, very, very special moment for him. Happy for him. And, yeah, being in this organization, we are pretty lucky to walk around living legends. So very fortunate, and he's a better person and a smarter and more inquisitive mind than even the basketball talent. So it's very humbling and cool, and just it's a out of body experience sometimes being around some of the people in this organization, and mine was one of them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, real quick story, Mitch. He was doing the press conference both in English and in Spanish, and then by Zoom, someone asked him a question in Italian, and he looked at us. He said, "My Italian's very rusty," and then he went and answered the question. And as far as I know, it was flawless Italian. It sounded pretty good to me. So you're right, a pretty sharp guy. And well-deserved. Thank you very much for your time, Mitch. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That is Mitch Johnson, assistant coach for the Spurs. The Spurs with a 113-92 win over the Portland Trailblazers. And we'll take a break right now. We'll have more numbers for you. This is Spurs Radio.
In 1932.
All right, that's Bill Schoening on post-game as the Spurs now have a magic number of 2. The Spurs either win 2 in the Final Four or a combination of 2 Spurs victories and Los Angeles Lakers losses, and the San Antonio Spurs are in the play-in tournament, so it's almost certain. I mean, season like this, you don't count on anything to be certain, but it will probably excuse me. Thank you. It'll probably happen. Spurs have 4 games left without any help from the Lakers. If the Lakers win out, Spurs have to win 2 of their final 4. They're at Denver, at Minnesota, home against Golden State, and at Dallas. Now, the Lakers lost today to the Nuggets. Lakers have lost 6 in a row. So the Lakers seem to be free-falling pretty much now. Welcome in Ofa Lin from Singapore, Beth Settle, Wes Perkins, Bernard Trefan, Jimmy Munoz, Neo Wick Bogert, Mike Lewis, Jimmy Munoz, Frank Ramirez, welcome in. I think we got another segment with Bill. Let me check. Bill has one more, right?
Technically 2. Spurs with the win over the Blazers.
More Bill Schoening.
3-45. The Blazers dropped to 27 and 51. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification along the San Antonio Spurs radio network.
News Radio 1200 WOAI. San Antonio's breaking news, traffic, and weather.
We gave you some of those team numbers before Mitch Johnson joined us. Spurs shoot 45% from the field, 33% beyond the arc, and 23 of 30. That's 77% from the line. Second chance points. Spurs had a big edge in that department, 27-8. And the fast break point, pretty good advantage there for the Spurs, 13-5 for every fast break point the Spurs score this season. The fine folks at Break Check donate $20 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Antonio. It's a win for the Spurs and for the kids. And tonight it's win for the Spurs as they win at 113-92. And the Spurs tonight had the advantage in the fast break. 13 fast break points tonight for the Spurs. Only 36 second half points for the Trailblazers. That ties a season low by an opponent for the Spurs as they came out defensively. And in that second half, only 32% for the Blazers for the ball game. They shoot just under 40% for the ball game. And the Spurs again with the edge. 50-39 on the boards. Individual scoring. First of all, for the visitors from Portland, they had 3 starters in double figures. Their leading scorer came off the bench, Ben McLemore with 19, along with 19 from one of their starters, Keon Johnson, who scored 20 here the other night. Also in double figures, Greg Brown, he had 14 points. Andrew Eubanks with 13 points and 13 rebounds for the former Spur. C.J. Ellaby with 8 and 5 for Brandon Williams. Off the bench, 19 for McLemore, as we mentioned, but not a lot of help other than that. Reggie Perry with 7, Didi Lozada with 3, 2 for Chris Dunn, and Keldon Blevins chipped in 2. For the Spurs, Keldon Johnson led the way with 28 points. He was 9 of 20 from the field, and he tied his career high with 6 threes made in this ballgame. He was 6 of 12 beyond the arc. Tying his career high with 18 points, Zach Collins. He had his career high with 13 rebounds. He was charged with 5 turnovers tonight. Trey Jones, 18 points, 7 boards, 7 assists. And Joshua Primo chipped in 9 points, 3 rebounds for Primo. He also had a steal. Devin Vassell played 30 minutes. He had 8 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds, just 2 of 7 from the floor. Off the bench, Jock Landale only played 6 minutes before he had a foot sprain. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, with 8. Josh Richardson with 8. 2 for Landale before he went out with that foot injury. Keita Bates-Diop, nice little contribution, 12 points and 7 boards. And the Spurs needed him because they were thin in the front court. No Jakob Poeltl tonight, and Landale going out after 6 minutes. Romeo Langford played 5 minutes, did not score. Joe Wieskamp also did not score. Devontae Caycock late got a bucket. He had 2 points in the ballgame. It adds up to 113 for the Spurs, 92 for the Blazers. Attendance this evening, 15,816, as the Spurs now have that magic number of 2 against the Lakers to clinch that 10th spot in the Western Conference. 113-92 Spurs. We'll have more when Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
Navy Federal.
That's Bill Schoening. I see we have Odessa and Midland in the house. Domingo Hernandez Jr. from Odessa, Texas, says go Spurs go. Jimmy Munoz joining us from Midland. We've got Ofa Lin from Singapore. Peter Villarreal with the Artist Gilmore reference in there with Gervin, Robinson, Duncan, and Manu. There is Mary Anthony, the Spurs good luck charm. I saw there's Mary Anthony. Hello, Mary Anthony. Thought I saw you. Edinburgh, Texas in the house. Al Perez III, welcome in. Nicole says, go Spurs, go. Hope the guys keep pressing. I got a feeling they will. And remember, they did this one tonight without DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, and then Jock Landale got hurt in the first half and went out. Neo Wick Bogert is in here from Somerset, Texas. I drove through Somerset yesterday on the way to Von Ormy. True story. Got to check something with Michael. He's doing the last one.
It's your world. No one out Pizza the Hut.
Additional charge for more than one topping. Product availability, prices, and delivery areas. Minimums and fees vary. Delivery charge not a tip.
So once again, here's Bill.
Sorry, bud. What was that?
To the final score, the Spurs, a 13-3 run early in the fourth away, as the Spurs outscore the Blazers 34-16 in the third and 31-20 in the fourth. Again, only 36 second chance points for the Blazers, tying an opponent's season low for the Spurs. Whataburger, what's next? The Spurs will play at Denver Tuesday night. That game on CW 35, 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 airtime. Thursday at Minnesota Target Center. That's a 7 o'clock tip. That game on Bally Sports, and then CW 35's got the next home game. That's against the Golden State Warriors on Saturday, April 9th. And again,
he shouldn't throw it to you, but just be mindful in case he does.
Trey Jones, 7 of 11 for the field tonight, 18 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists. It's the ultimate performance brought to you by the fine folks at BMW of San Antonio. Trey Jones helping lead the Spurs to the victory this evening. Keldon Johnson at 28, 18 for Zach Collins, 18 for Trey Jones. Several players coming up with good performances. And let's not forget about Keita Bates-Diop, 21 minutes off the bench, 6 of 8 in the field, 12 points and 7 rebounds. And Papa said many times the Spurs need several players to play well to win games, especially with guys like Murray out with the Jakob Poeltl. And tonight the Spurs did that. They got several players playing well. 113-92, Spurs with the win over the Portland Trailblazers. This is Spurs Radio.
All right.
You can actually do well.
That was Bill Schoening. Taro Kotani is in the house. The greatest international Spurs fan, Taro Kotani. So we've got Tokyo in the house. Taro's from Tokyo. Ofa Lin in the house from Singapore. We've got Midland, Odessa, and Edinburgh, Texas in the house. We've got Somerset, Texas in the house. Welcome in, everybody. I like the Neil Wick Bogart, a personal friend of Tracy Bogart. If you're ever in Vaughn Army again, eat at the I-35 diner. It's awesome. Even as a full bar. I was at Vista Hermosa Park yesterday in Vaughn Army. Vista Hermosa Park on the Medina River. Mariana Garcia, welcome in. Yeah, there are tough games coming up, but I think the Spurs are going to win a couple of them. And I said earlier, if you're just joining us, the magic number is 2. Combination of Spurs wins or Laker losses for the Spurs to get the number 10 slot. Lakers have lost 6 in a row. So that is starting to look. The play-in tournament starting to look, I would say, quite likely for the San Antonio Spurs now. Lakers would have to. Even if the Lakers win out and go 4-0, the Spurs win 2 games and they're in. If the Lakers lose 1, the Spurs just have to win 1 of 4. If the Lakers lose 2, it's over. So.
Cuts left and Johnson fires the 3 over Brown. Trey, front Trey Jones. Timeout Chauncey Billups. 26 points for Keldon. The Spurs have their biggest lead. It is 90-75 San Antonio.
Keldon Johnson scoring in the 4th quarter. Bill Schoening with the call and the final score from the AT&T Center. The San Antonio Spurs defeat the Portland Trailblazers 113-92. They reduced their magic number to qualify for the play-in tournament to 2 games. Any combination of 2 Spurs victories and Laker defeats in these final 4 games, and the Spurs are at least at the number 10 position in the Western Conference for the play-in tournament. Let's take a look at the NBA scoreboard. Warriors lead the Kings 32-17 early second quarter. Another game to keep an eye on, Pelicans at the Clippers tonight. They're just underway. 2-2 is the score. Each team has traded an early basket, Clippers and the Pelicans. So watch that one tonight on NBA TV and see if the Spurs can pick up a full game on the Pelicans today. Celtics beat the Wizards 144-102. Mavs over the Bucks 118-112. Nuggets beat the Lakers. That's big. 129-118. Pistons over the Pacers 121-117. Sixers beat the Cavs 112-108. It was the Knicks over the Magic 118-88. Heat beat the Raptors 114-109. Timberwolves over the Rockets 139-132. And the Thunder, bit of an upset, Thunder beat the Phoenix Suns in Oklahoma City tonight 117-96. Programming note on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Our Spurs React with Michael Bartlett and myself is just moments away after a quick wrap-up from Bill Schoening at the AT&T Center, where the Spurs beat the Portland Trailblazers tonight 113-92. Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run.
Yeah, Ofalin says
But the good news is
the Lakers have to go 3-1 or 4-0 to pass the Spurs. And that would mean, Ofa, the Spurs would have to just keep losing if that happened. So if the Spurs win 2 of these 4, no matter what the Lakers do, the Spurs would surpass them. Jose Trevino, welcome in. Yeah, Lakers, Jose is pointing out, Lakers have a really tough schedule coming up. Fonzie J. Rodriguez is in here from Los Angeles. Jorge Chapa Jr. says, Viva Spurs, Viva Fiesta. There you go. I'm all about the Fiesta there, Jorge. When does Nyosa start? Tuesday night? Notice I said Nyosa, not Neosa. Fonzie J. Rodriguez. Yeah, Fonzie, times have changed for your Lakers. By the way, Winning Time drops another episode tonight on HBO and HBO Max. Sandra Perez, welcome in. Ofa Lin from Singapore. Leland Bruce, what is up? Big win for the Spurs. Yeah, the magic number is 2 for the Spurs right now. Here's Bill.
San Antonio 113, Portland 92. The Senior Director of Broadcasting, Mike Picarillo. Liz Canonas handles commercial traffic along with Leah Resendez. Broadcast engineer Sam Walters. Statistician Walter Stoops. Next game of the Spurs coming up at Denver Tuesday night, 7:30 airtime, 8 o'clock tip, Spurs and Nuggets. As always, for all things Spurs, follow us on Twitter, Spurs.com, or the Spurs app. Our studio producer this evening, Mike Bartlett. Our studio host, Chris Duel. This is Bill Schilling. Thanking you for joining us this evening. The final score, Spurs 113, Blazers 92. This has been a presentation of Spurs Sports and Entertainment and the National Basketball Association. All rights reserved. Good night, everybody.
Spurs Radio Game Night Rewind.
Bill Schoening ending the official broadcast.
The game we live for, the codes we live by, and by iHeartMedia.
Yeah, Jimmy, I the way they're playing, I agree with you. 4 games left on the schedule. Jimmy says the Spurs should have at least 2 more wins in them. I totally agree with that.
As the official marketplace of the NBA.
Even though the schedule looks tough. Now, Golden State, don't forget, Steph Curry's out of the lineup for them. At Denver, at Minnesota, then Golden State, then at Dallas. And what you might run into, some of those teams, as we get toward the very end of the schedule, only 4 games left, some of those teams might be resting people. So that's a possibility as well. There's the lovely Michael Bartlett. We'll talk to him. When do you want to get out?
I was also able to move into a place while they sold my old one. Cancel the jumper.
Orchard is an official partner of the San Antonio Spurs. Get started today at orchard.com.
We got Singapore, Tokyo, Midland, Odessa, Edinburgh. Here we go.
This is Game Night.
No highlight.
Spurs Radio.
You can take me to 50, 57, or 58. That would be fine. 57, 50, 58, 50.
The number is 2. The number of the night for Spurs fans and for the Spurs is 2, because that's the magic number. Any combination of 2 Spurs victories and or Laker defeats, and your San Antonio Spurs are going back to the postseason, to the play-in tournament at least the number 10 position to get into the play-in tournament. Number 9 is still in play. Don't forget tonight, keep an eye on that Pelicans-Clippers game that is underway in Los Angeles as the Spurs chase the Pelicans for the number 9 slot. Final score tonight from the AT&T Center. The San Antonio Spurs defeat the Portland Trail Blazers 113-92. This is Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. I'm Chris Duel along with Michael Bartlett. If you want to jump in here with us on the phone lines and talk Spurs, we will certainly accommodate that. The phone number is 210-383-WOAI, 737-1200. I meant the 800 number there. 210-737-1200 is the local number. Here's the 800 number, to be clear. 800-383-WOAI. Numerically, that's 800-383-9624. Spurs looking good. Now, granted, Bill used the term taking care of business. Not only a song by Bachman Turner Overdrive, but one of the mantras of Elvis Presley. Elvis used to have TCB on his jet and had the insignia. Oh, thank you very much. Taking care of business. Thank you, Elvis. So that's what the Spurs did. You were supposed to beat the Portland Trail Blazers, and they did. Now, remember, though, they do this tonight without DeJounte Murray. He was out of the lineup with an upper respiratory issue. They do it without big man Jakob Poeltl, who had some lower back issues. And Jock Landale got injured in the second, I think it was the second quarter. It was in the first half. So it wasn't easy tonight. The Spurs fell behind early, 15-2 at the beginning of the ball game, but fought back, scratched. They were down at halftime. Portland led at the half, 56-48. But the Spurs find a way to win. They wind up closing this one out 113-92 to lower their magic number to 2 to get into the postseason. Keldon Johnson for the Spurs tonight. Check that. Trey Jones, actually, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. A tremendous game for Trey Jones. Let's grab a phone call here, and then we'll talk to Michael Bartlett. The phone number, 210-737-1200. Let's go to Jonathan. Jonathan, you're on Spurs React on 1200 WOAI. Welcome, Jonathan.
Hey, how are you tonight?
Good.
Good win for the Spurs. I just have a question. If the Spurs get hot and they win out, can they get number 8?
No, they are. Thanks for the call, Jonathan. They are the Clippers are in the number 8 slot. Now, in the play-in tournament, they could get number 8 once they get into the play-in tournament. If you win the play-in tournament, Michael, you win the first game, you can ultimately get to the number 8 seed by winning the play-in tournament if you're number 10. Michael's saying, no, that's not true. That's why you have a play-in tournament, so that if you are the number 10 seed, you play the 9 seed in the first game, and then you play the loser of the 7 versus 8 seed, and the winner of that one does get the 8 seed. So technically, Jonathan, if the Spurs win out in the play-in tournament, they would go into the playoffs with the number 8 seed. It is possible. Hasn't been done yet in the NBA, but it is possible. Speaking of Michael Bartlett, let's check in with him. Michael, big win for the Spurs tonight, 113-92. I don't want to get too cocky, but the Lakers have lost 6 in a row. I don't see the Lakers turning things around here in the final 4 games.
I'll just make it quick. They in that first quarter, they kind of took it for granted. It was almost the exact same scene that we saw Friday night against the Trailblazers. They got out early, and then the Spurs decided we're going to wake up and take the team serious. Second half came out, played well. Defense played well. So I'm right there with you. I don't think the Lakers are going to get it together. You're asking this dysfunctional Lakers team with, I'll just say it, with a LeBron who's basically just quitting right now on the team. Who knows? We don't know what they're going to do. Even if whatever they do, you still own the tiebreaker with them. Can you really honestly say that the Lakers can win any of these games left that they have? Maybe the Oklahoma City Thunder game, who the Thunder just blew out the Suns tonight, granted without Devin Booker, but they still had Chris Paul. Thunder didn't have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, so I would safe to say that one of these next couple of games you win as the Spurs, and you're pretty much locked in. I know that the magic number is 2, but I would say probably Tuesday or Thursday, we're going to find out definite whether or not the Spurs are in the 10 seed with the possibility of the 9. After tonight, you could possibly get within a half a game more to the Pelicans. So As much as it pains me, we are pulling for the Clippers tonight. So go Clippers.
That is the final game of the night tonight in the NBA. That game is on NBA TV. If you have access to NBA TV, if you want to check that out. As Michael mentions, as early as Tuesday night, if the Lakers lose their next game, and if the Spurs can win in Denver on Tuesday night, as early as Tuesday night, the Spurs could clinch the number 10 slot at least in the play-in tournament and in the Western Conference to qualify for the play-in tournament. Once again, the magic number is 2 for the San Antonio Spurs, and that's any combination of Spurs victories and Laker losses. And again, Lakers have lost 6 in a row, as Michael mentions. LeBron James has taken himself out of the lineup. Now, he does have an ankle injury. I don't want to assume that he's not hurting, but so there's that. All right, let me look at some more numbers from tonight's game. Keldon Johnson led the Spurs in scoring with 28 points. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Other Spurs in double figures. Among the starters, Trey Jones, I love his numbers tonight. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal for Trey Jones. Zach Collins, a career high tonight for him. 18 points. He had 13 rebounds. A double-double for Zach Collins. He also had 2 assists. Those are your starters in double figures. You had one man off the bench in double figures. That was Keita Bates-Diop with 12 points. He also had 7 rebounds. And it all adds up to a 113-92 win for the San Antonio Spurs over the Portland Trail Blazers. And again, congratulations to Manu Ginobili. Hopefully you were able to hear it or see it. If not, you can go find it at spurs.com or across social media. Manu Ginobili's press conference was yesterday as he was introduced officially. We had heard, the story leaked a couple of days before, but we kind of knew that Manu Ginobili would be a first ballot Hall of Famer in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. But Manu Ginobili addressed the media. He congratulated Bill Schoening, actually, on Bill's 2,000 consecutive broadcasts, which was a very, very cool moment in that press conference. And as Bill brought up in the pregame show, another man involved in that Hall of Fame being inducted in the class of 2022 is George Karl. Those of us who were around when the Spurs came to town in 1973 at the Hemisphere Arena remember George Karl as an original San Antonio Spur, who after his playing days became an assistant coach on the Spurs bench under Bob Bass, and then went on to have this prolific coaching career in the NBA. And that is why he is now in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame by virtue of his coaching, which all began in San Antonio. The playing career led to his coaching career, and then it was off to the races for George Karl. So congratulations to Manu Ginobili. Congratulations to George Karl and everyone else. It was a long list of Hall of Famers going into the class of 2022. We want to thank Bill Schoening for another masterful call. Nobody does it better than Bill in his 21st year. Go to Amazon, check out and purchase his brand new book. Just search Bill Schoening in the search engine at Amazon. You can go find his book. Veteran statistician Walter Stoops, on-site engineer Sam Walters, and the man who makes the entire broadcast go from beginning to end, the Mr. Rogers of Spurs React, Michael Bartlett. For those gentlemen, I'm Chris Duel. Once again, the final score: Blazers fall to the Spurs. Spurs 113, Portland Trail Blazers 92. This has been Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Good night, everybody.